Today on the channel, we're looking at number 97 in the G.I.Joe Classified series line. Python Patrol Cobra Officer version 2, or perhaps Cobra Soldier, on the way I got it figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, Classified fans? Where I got it figured, back with another G.I.Joe Classified series review. We're looking at the so-called Python Cobra Officer, the second figure to bear this name, Target exclusive, and I picked this one up at Target. So this guy, you know, the history of this figure is, when Python Patrol came out back in the day, the officer and the soldier were flipped. So the figure that had this deco was originally the Cobra Soldier, or the Cobra, whatever you want to call it, in this black and green Python pattern, but he was named the Cobra Officer. Whereas the other officer, which is already released, was named the Cobra Soldier, even though it was the officer. So Classified team in there, you know, whatever, they just wanted to add to the confusion, I guess. They're calling this one the officer and the other one the officer. In my mind, this is the Cobra Trooper. But hey, maybe there are no Cobra Troopers in Python Patrol, they're just all officers. So we got this guy, which is another Cobra Officer. The other one's a Cobra Officer as well. That one didn't have the rank insignia, and it had the infantry gloves. But in all other body parts, it was the Cobra Officer. So this guy also came with an extra head, which is like a trooper head, which is nice. If you want it to be, I guess, the trooper, you just put the head on there. But, you know, maybe, I guess, take the pauldron off and you can say it's a trooper, a soldier. So, you know, you got some options there. And the head is, you know, same head as the other Cobra Officer, infantry. Then you got the goggles that came with the infantry. You got your AK that comes usually with the Cobra Officer, along with the image intensifier, the back holster, and of course the submachine gun for variableness. You know, I decided to equip this one with this gun. And then of course Cobra is continuing their diversity hire by having a darker skinned Cobra Officer. He comes, of course, with a pistol, knife. Like I say, he's got the pauldron, making him seem like perhaps he's a little bit higher ranked. And it's a cool figure. Now, in the 788 Fire Team video, you know, I had mentioned that it seems like this particular mold, these pants, these legs, starting to have some mold degradation. And this figure actually has the same janky leg as the Cobra Officer from the 788 Fire Team. So, you know, he can still stand, everything's good in that way, but, you know, the leg is definitely off center. So I had mentioned perhaps I would think about taking the leg off and shaving the peg down a little bit. And now that I got two figures like this, you know, I don't know, I don't like it. So there's that. But in all other regards, it's a Cobra officer, and it's a pretty cool figure. You know, I'm gonna go on record once again for saying that I'm getting kind of tired of these Python and Tiger Force guys. You know, back in the day, they were great ways to get characters that you didn't already have. But most of those figures, when Python Patrol came out, were like 3-year-old toys, or even more in some cases. You know, but it really started the, like, you know, lazy repaint stage of action figures, you know. And nothing's changed, and we're all still the same suckers we were back in the day. But at least in the back of the day, it seemed like there was more value to it. Here in Classified, you know, it's just another six-inch figure for me to, you know, have. And I don't know. Nostalgia is a powerful agent, but I am just a little bit tired of buying the same guy just to have this you know, particular version of it when it's exactly the same figure. Now, granted, they did give you extra stuff with this one. They gave you the head, they gave you the goggles, so there's a little bit of value thrown in with this guy. So I'm not 100% down on it, and obviously I got it. But there's that. So we're going to do comparisons, but first we're going to go ahead and look at the packaging. So of course, you know, you got his loadout, and you got a nice picture in some ruins of you know, the Python officer with the Python Patrol logo on the box. Number 97. And, you know, you got your little close-up of the mean-looking face. And I like how the goggles have sort of like snake eyes. Kind of interesting. Then on this side, you got your QR code as usual. And maybe one day the QR code will work. No promises, though. And then on the back, you have the tail of the tape. So this guy sits at 6.2 inches. Got his loadout once again. And the inset has got the Python Patrol logo there, which I think is really cool. And, you know, just the inset of his web gear. And then you've got his combat symbols, which appear to be almost the same as the normal one. So you've got 1 command, 1 light weapons, 1 stealth, and 1 sabotage. So you go there. Now, we will next do some comparisons. I shall return shortly. All right, for comparisons, we've got the original Python Cobra officer. So you got your classic 2, just with no, you know, they're both in officer gear. The Real American Hero version had the soldier gear. And then you also have your 788 Fire Team version. The 788 Fire Team version is set up like the other Python officer with the soldier arms, infantry arms. And they both have the janky leg. Interestingly enough, this one doesn't have the janky leg. So there are your comparisons. I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on G.I.Joe Classified Series number 97, Python Patrol Cobra Officer. You know, if you're trying to collect the original Python Patrol in classified form, then obviously you're going to want this guy. You still got to get Copperhead. But when it comes to these Python Patrols, I'm getting limited ones. Like, I didn't get the Python Bat, and I didn't get the Python Crimson Guardsman. Because I'm not really interested in getting them all. But, you know, I did pick up this one because I always liked the black clad gear better anyway. So, you know, it wasn't a tough sell in that regard. But, you know, it's pretty standard fare for the Cobra Officer figure, which has been reviewed on this channel in all of its forms thus far. So, you know, there's that. Basically, this figure, I'm going to give it an 8. I'm not going to knock it really for the janky leg, which is just it's just happening like that because they've used this mold so many times or whatever. At least the pants, you know, which have been used beyond even just the officers. But that'll do it for this video. Thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you reached this far in the video, type a 10 in the comments, just so I can see how far people are getting in the videos when they watch them. But I do appreciate you, even if you watch it for, you know, half of it or whatever. And, you know, thanks for all the subscribers. If you're new to the channel, please join them. Subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more G.I.Joe Classified series content coming, along with all the other lines that we cover here. And everybody, stay safe. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.